young before you hurt yourself. I'm come to you live briefly this morning just to encourage my black fathers that's dealing with different issues with their kids. Over time, I realized that the kryptonite, so to speak, that hurts the most being a father, especially being a black father that was raised with a without that father figure. Had the dad, but not a father. Once you get out of a certain situation, especially like going through hardships from juvenile detention to prison, and you start growing up, your goal is to be the best father. You like, man, you know what, I'm gonna be better than the father I had, and you strike out with good intentions. I'm gonna be a good father. I'm gonna give my all. I'm gonna go that extra mile. And then, we tend to make some decisions based on physical appearances a lot of times with dealing with our love life. You know, a lot of us didn't have the guide or the father or to sit us down and say, hey, preserve yourself. Don't put yourself out there like that. Don't put all your kids spread it out. Be a father. Keep them consolidated. You have more power when you can be around them and you can help educate them and you know the information that they receive and they can understand you and how you act and your mood and you understand them. You growing together. How detrimental it is not being around your children, not being able to watch them grow. And then to the fathers that's actually taking care of their children and then not being able to see them, not being able to have a relationship with them. It hurts. You know what I mean? It hurts. It hurts to the point where, I recently heard a story which was real of a guy that I knew that took his life. And another guy that I know who was on top of his game and was doing pretty good, and now he's like bad, gone on drugs. Sometimes we tend to do different things to try to cover up that pain as a black father, trying to deal with the drama without actually talking to someone professionally to help us deal with certain things. Because we have things that we grow up in our childhood, and then a lot of us don't know about relationships, just like we don't know about money. And one thing that a wise man told me when I was in prison, that my lust, my sexual desires is tied to my bank account. And man, I didn't understand this guy when he said that. But as I grow older, I understand that if a man can't control his desires, then he won't be able to control his money. His money will go just like his desires. Certain things you learn over time, man, but we tend to have a lot on our chest that we deal with when we're trying to raise kids from a distance or just love them or just want to see them. I can't tell you about how many black fathers I know that killed themselves because they couldn't see their child. And that's all they had. Sometimes when you come from certain environments, your kids, it's all you got, man. You want to see them reach another level. I remember growing up, I could always tell things was different for me. Not just for, how I was raised, but just for a darker kid. Things were different for a darker kid where I grew up at. You know what I mean? And I remember seeing the difference between the shades of children, the class, so to speak. They stay in the house, you stay in the projects. And I used to say, when I grow up older, I'm gonna raise my kids differently. I remember telling my mom I wanted a lot of kids. My mama had a lot of kids. And my sister actually was the one who had, she had actually had 7 kids. And God rest the soul of one of her kids that passed. So she has 6 that's living. And all of them is by her husband. It's a wonderful thing. And I think about how I thought it was great to have a lot of kids by different women because I'm looking at the generation before me. Some older cousins who had a lot of kids, who was hustling, in the streets. And I thought that was, I thought that was the going thing. That's what you should do at the time. The image that my father showed me it wasn't a good image. So anything other than what I seen, I wanted to create for myself. But I didn't know what I was going to face. As I got out of prison. You know what I mean, with my first wife. You know what I mean. I've been married twice, and tried my best. You know what I mean. Things didn't work out, and my daughter now is 15, and I can see her. You know what I mean. I never had the deal with her where I couldn't see her. But what affected me the most with her is that I could tell that by me and her mom not being together, us not being around, she lost the reverence. She loved me, but she don't respect me. And that's a different thing because respect shows actions, but I'm not around. So, I can't get mad. I mean, I'm not mad at some of the things that she do or some of the things that she had. And I'm like, wow, but if I was around more, it wouldn't have been like that. But that's like the fruits of the tree, you know what I mean? And that is one example that I learned from not being around. And so if you're a young man and you don't have any kids and you think about having kids, whoever you decide to have your kids with, in my personal opinion, I will make sure I do a lot of research and that this is who I want to be with, and then I will make sure I be with them until my kids are grown. If it don't work out, at least be with them until you go home. You know what I mean? If you can, because that's some valuable time. Salute, salute. Good rising, good rising. That's some valuable time that we missing. And, sometimes I feel like we don't know. You know what I mean? As black fathers, we don't know. We look up to images a lot of times. A lot of our kids, a lot of us was raised off TV and raised off our environments, and the hood was like TV. What we seen in the projects, what we seen in the, on the block. That's what we thought was, what was the right way to go, so to speak. But being a black father, man, now I understand, that once you mature, it hurts the most not having that relationship with your kids. It hurts the most not being able to talk to them. You can pay the child support, and you're like, man, you know what? It blows your mind how you have the ones, the fathers who really don't care, they're sprung out. It's crazy how some of those mothers will even take the child to visit them in the bad areas and say, hey, this your dad. I want you to see him. He's going through something right now. That's cool. But the man that's struggling, trying to get himself together, it seems like that's really doing something. Like he don't get that. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy how life turn around, man. But I would most definitely say that before you hurt yourself, before we hurt ourselves with holding things in and dealing with the pain, you know what I mean, of not seeing your kids or not having that relationship and bond that you wish you could have had, and then especially us that grew up without it. Just, that's the only thing we wanted was to provide that. And it doesn't mean you're not a good father because the relationships tend to go left field sometimes. It's just life sometimes, you know what I mean? We can't control how things flow. But this morning I just wanted to say, talk to somebody if you was having any type of ill thoughts on your mind. I ain't gonna lie, I've been like under a little pressure here lately myself, just dealing with kids, dealing with not seeing them, going basically a year without seeing my son, over a year without, decided seeing him through a video or a photo. And sometimes I think, like, man, when I was in prison, I used to say that, man, when I get out, I don't have to see my family through these photos and through these pictures. And then I'm faced with the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, seeing them through photos and pictures. It's like, sometimes you think, you're like, man, what's the difference between, you being in there and out here, especially from the love or the support, you know what I mean? So sometimes, you have thoughts, you know what I mean? Just don't dwell on nothing that's gonna put you in a situation, man. I can't tell you, like I say, I haven't been troubled myself here lately, so I just been just dealing with my own issues with my kids and with the new area and the house and everything. Just sometimes things come to a toll, but what hurts me the most is not being able to be a father. Not being able to see my son. Not being able to have the relationship that I should have with my daughters. You know, my oldest daughter. She's grown. She's 24. She's doing her thing, and I was there for her. So I know that over time things gonna be what it is. But my baby girl, though, you know, I would most definitely wish our relationship would have been a lot better than what it is. And we, correspond, and I do what I can to, look out for her when she need me. But, you know, love and respect is two different things. And sometimes, you notice that to, I heard a guy say, man, you can have 3 kids, and I guarantee you out of the 3, one gonna, want to act like you wasn't there, and the other ones might love you to death, and it's always different when it comes to that. But a father being denied the opportunity to be one, that's some hurtful stuff, family. You know what I mean? So I get it. You know what I mean? So, like I say, I got a friend of mine that took his life. God rest his soul, rest in love. And I don't really know what all was going through his mind, but we go through our low points, dealing with kids, being alone, not knowing what direction to go, thinking you done did it all. What else can you do? You know, it's kind of like, man, you know, you get the concept like, what, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? But you just have to keep a tight mental, man, and breathe and talk to somebody. Just even though if sometimes just talking, getting certain things out, hearing yourself say it can help you. Like, well, yeah, that may be a messed up way of thinking about it. And you might be justified for thinking that way, but doesn't mean that you have to act on that. It's just a thought. But I would say, don't harm yourself, don't hurt yourself, Your kids need you. And when it's your time, it's your time. So I wouldn't rush that, you know what I mean? But eventually the relationship that you want eventually come out, It might not all come around, we say that we watch TV and we see the perfect relationships. And you'll wish that, man, I wish my life was like that. I wish the kids was around and the people, everybody gathered up for dinner and everybody said their prayers before they went to bed. And, just sometimes things don't go like that. Sometimes they do. Sometimes you can get a blessing and mess it up sometimes. So it can go many ways. But I just wanted to say to any black man that's going through something with their kids, with stress, with life, don't take your life. Talk to somebody, you know what I mean? I understand though, I understand that it gets stressful, man. I understand. Believe me, I understand. But it hurt me to see, my guy get to that point. And then sometimes, you think like, how close are you away from that point? So, my heart go out to anybody that's dealing with their kids because I'm dealing with mine. I'm not seeing my son. I don't know, it's like the whole situation to me is evil, but when it's out of your hands, all you can do is just try to prepare for the day when you can be able to stand to, you know, give it another shot. But before I go, salute, salute, salute. Man, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Hope everything is prosperous for you this coming up new year. So to all the fathers, like I stay focused. I'm just passing through, wanted to talk a little bit and just, man, talk to somebody, cousin, anybody, if you can't afford no, all of us can't afford no $50 hour, $100 consultations to sit down for an hour and pay $500 for 3 sessions. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Get you a friend to talk to, but don't hurt yourself. You know what I mean? We got family. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, the kids understand. You just got to stay focused, man. You got to stay focused. The enemy is real. We know that. So I just want to say salute, salute. Be blessed and prosperous. I love you. Stay focused. Keep getting HogOn. I'm out.